Hi everyone, it's Priya here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you some changes that I've done to my workspace in my studio just to make my workflow better and my creativity flow better, and just to have a place where I can work freely and not have any resistance to creating. And I think by changing it the way I've changed it now, I think that can help me, and I'm just going to share it with you because it may help you as well. So firstly, if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, and if you've been here for a long time, I'd just like to say thank you for all your support along this journey. So let's get into today's video. So starting off, this is my desk. Now I'm going to show you in a moment the desk that I'm talking about, and this is where I do all my creating. Most of it's done on this desk. Now if you've been around, you know that I've had a couple of desks in my studio, and I'm going to show you where everything was and where I've moved everything to. So I'm going to just take you down from here, and then I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the desk that I'm talking about. Now you can see in length it is a very long desk, but in width it is very, very short. It only comes from here to here. Now when I'm working with a lot of supplies, like I'm working with watercolors, I'm working with maybe fine liners, I've got my color pencils and I got them open up with all the different trays on the table, it does become very hard for me to, work with everything. I keep dropping things, or, things become, too cluttered around me. I don't have space for my sketchbook. And especially since I'm filming, it makes it even more difficult for me, getting a proper angle with the camera because things are, coming in the way. And even for my working, it's, just gets very cluttered, or I don't have space for everything, and then I gotta move things onto other areas. And yeah, there's a lot of different reasons, but that's one of the biggest reasons why I did this change. As well as I wanted to have my supplies where I can see everything. I want to see not everything, but I want to see most of my supplies and majority of them, so I reach for them more often. Otherwise I'm only going to be using the one or two pencils I have on top, or the watercolors I have on top. Now okay, so if I take you to my drawers, if you go to the drawers on the side here, you will see I've got my gouache paints, watercolors in the top drawer. These are other sets that I use. And then in the second drawer, I've got the watercolors, charcoal, water-soluble oil pastels. In the next drawer, I've got my, Derwent Chromaflows. I've got the Inktense. These are the largest sets of the Inktense pencils, as well as the Inktense blocks. There's some pen sets as well from Derwent on the side. And then in the last drawer, I've got my Derwent Pro Color, I've got the Bladder Polycolors, I've got the Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils over here, and then I just got my masking fluids and my blending mediums that I've got in this drawer. So this drawer has got things that I use in it, but I reach for it usually if I have a particular project in mind. So if I'm doing a charcoal drawing, I'll reach for my charcoal. If I'm doing Inktense, I'll reach for my Inktense. But my basic ones that I reach for all the time, I've taken them out from here and I've actually put them on the table. For example, I want to really use my polychromos much more than I'm using them now. And I decided to put them on this desk. And also here I've just got my swatches for all my pencils and paints, and then I've got my two planning sketchbooks which usually stay on my desk. And then this desk, I had the desk that's kept here over in front of me. That desk used to be on this side of the room, and when it was kept on this side, I wasn't really using it. I was just basically putting stuff on it, but I was not able to reach it because, as you can see, I've got my tripod here, I've got my the little trolleys here. So to reach over and get my stuff every time, I wasn't really reaching for anything kept on the desk, even if I wanted to use anything there. So I removed that table from here and I put it over there. And then this one at the back with the is actually my glass table. Now that used to be in an area over this side. It used to be here, the glass table. Now I moved that over here, and basically I just got things that I may reach for, like if I use my drawing board over there. I've got my drawing board there. I've got my cutting mat. I've got some painting palettes, the paper palettes, the plastic palettes. I've got them there. That's just a little thing. I always had it from like I don't know how many years. So I just have that with some pens and staple removers and things like that. But I always keep that just on my desk always. And then I've just got over here, this was a table that I had over here somewhere. It used to be, and then that table was a little black table, used to be in the corner there between the glass table and the brown one. So now I basically just move them about so that I have easy access to everything, because I even do art journaling, and I really don't want to be, digging underneath the tables and all for my art journaling supplies. So like this, I've got my art journaling supplies over here. These are my napkins and stickers and papers and, lace and other things I have in there. Here I've got my, stamps in there, my different papers in there. This little trolley over here, or this little drawer set, got all my different papers like mixed media, color pencil, or not color pencil, dry media, sketching paper, watercolor papers. All of that is in this, this stand over here, or this drawer stand over here. On top, I just got my, my pastel acrylic paints. I don't really know where to put them, so I just left them because I want to keep them in the case. So I just left them there, because if I do want to use them, I can just reach them. Because from the top, I don't really, look for my stamps from the top. I would have to open it to look inside. And then there on the side over here, underneath this, if you look inside, it's all my stencils. And underneath I've got, I don't know if you can see, there's more stencils underneath. So that's going to be all my stencils for my art journaling supplies. So I have them all in one area. And then here as well, this is the last container that I use for my art journaling supply. I do use watercolors and things as well, but my main supplies, these are all my ink pads, and they're in this container over here. And then I've got my, my sketchbooks over here. And sorry, I just want to, there we go. So these are all my ink pads, and then I've got my sketchbooks. These are my art journals on top, and there's one little sketchbook there. But those are my art journaling supplies basically. So everything is in one area that I've got all of those. Then when you come over here, you will see all my pencils. So I've got on this desk, I've got my Faber-Castell Polychromos. Then these I've got my Derwent Lightfast drawing pencils, Inktense blocks, the smaller set, and my Coloursoft pencil 72 set, which I use to add textures and all to my color pencil, my watercolor drawings, or painting, sorry. So I use that for that. And then I've got my fine liners over there, and then I've got all my inks kept over here, just so that they firstly safe and they out of the way. They can't get knocked over, and also they're easy access for me, because I haven't been using them much because they are kept away. And usually with my fine liners, I've got a variety of different types of fine liners and pens. I don't reach for all of them. I would just usually reach for the top one, and I would use that, and I wouldn't go looking, for the others. So by having them, because they used to be in the trolley, I will show that to you in a minute, but I moved them here so I can reach them easily. Now when I'm working on the desk and I got, I have all these supplies, firstly I can see everything that I need, so I don't have to worry about, I can't I won't reach for a specific supply, because I've got them in front of me, which will automatically make me feel like using them. And then also on my desk when I'm working, because now I'm working, like for example, I was working with the oil pastels, I could have them on the desk and I don't have to worry about them falling over. There's a desk over there for them to lay on, and I can put the covers and the tins and the extra trays. I can keep them over, I can spread them over onto that desk, so it doesn't have to stay only on my working space. So I have space to move around, work with them, have my watercolors open. Even I can have my watercolors open. When I finish using them, I can move them aside. I can get my color pencils, bring them here, work with them, move them aside, have the trays all out. So it makes my workspace much easier for me to work with a lot of space, as well as it has all my supplies that I use to use my go-to supplies in front of me. Now I don't know if I will maybe bring my Inktense and add them to that, but those are fine in my drawers because I know I will go to them at some point. But now going back to the trolleys, the trolleys are basically the same. I didn't change anything in this trolley. This trolley is still the same. All my acrylic paints, my paper towels, at the bottom's my gel mediums and gesso. And there's my gouache paints that I use along with the new ones that I showed you in the drawer. And then over here is still the same. All my different brushes for the different mediums I use. My scissors and pencils, chalk, washi tape and other masking tape and tapes to use. There is my sharpeners, erasers. The only shelf I did change is the second shelf. This is where I put all my sketchbooks. Now, if you've watched a previous video where I talk about sketchbooks, you know that I'm going to be using a variety of different sketchbooks in my, my art, and I'll be using different ones for different purposes. If you didn't see that video, you can watch that and you'll see what I mean. But I have a variety of sketchbooks that I keep that I'm going to be using. So I don't want them stacked up. I had them stacked up on the table, then I keep having to move them out of the way, or I just see them stacked up, and then it becomes overwhelming and it makes me feel like, you know, I can't handle the creating because I just see all those books. So having them like this, I think, is much better, because like this I can just choose, oh, I need a watercolor sketchbook because I feel like doing watercolors, or I need a graphite sketchbook because I want to use graphite, or ink sketchbook, and I can just grab the one I want. I don't have to worry about, you know, getting stressed and overwhelmed by seeing so many sketchbooks. They're here, so I can just grab whichever one I want, because I work in multiple sketchbooks. So like this, I'll actually be using my sketchbooks more, and because I'll be creating more. Then I just got my clips, all my little clips in this little tray, and then sorry, the tripod is in the way. And then I've just got some glues at the bottom, and I've just got some bottled waters and spray bottles, just so that I can spray water when I'm doing my, you know, art journaling and things like that. So yeah, there's just also got my hairdryer and my glue gun. So you can see it's a very easy, simple setup. My workspace and my computer and everything's still the same, printer and everything's still the same. None of that has changed. It's only this area that has changed. And I think this makes a massive difference to how I'm going to work and how my creativity is going to flow and how much I'm going to create. I just wanted to point that out to you, that maybe a simple thing like changing your setup, just moving your own things around that you have, maybe that can help. Maybe just having your supplies where you can easily access them, that can help. Or even having your supplies where you can see them, because that can inspire you to create as well. So I think those are things that you can think of, that maybe if you are having an issue with creating, that you can do to your space that will help you to create. So I'm going to put you back onto the tripod, and then I will just continue talking to you. Hold on a minute for me. Okay, so you set back onto the tripod. So those are the things that I just wanted to talk to you about. You can see I didn't do massive changes, but for me it was quite a big change, because it was a furniture item, like a desk moving to another spot. So I think that was something that made a big difference to my art, and I think it's going to be helping me going forward, because I haven't worked a lot in this space. I just changed it a few days ago, so I haven't been doing so much of art in this time to be able to, you know, see if it's really going to work for me. But so far from what I have created, I do see a change in easy access. So as I said, if you make your supplies easy to access, you will create more with them. If you make your workspace more spacious, you have space to work, I think that can work for you, as well as having your supplies where you can see them, because you'll actually use them, and that also can inspire you to create. So those are things that I've done to my workspace that have helped me to create in my space and to feel more inspired and to create more. And I think that can also help you with your creativity and your, you know, your creative process and your creative flow. I think that can really help, because I think that's going to help me a lot. I do see a little bit of a change in how I'm working, and I don't have to be, you know, struggling on a small space. Now do also keep in mind that you don't need to have a massive studio or a massive room to create. You can create on your table, but like you saw, I have got a trolley that I've got my supplies on. You can keep other supplies on that trolley. It doesn't have to be the way I've got it. You can keep other supplies on there that you've got easy access to. You can have a trolley with maybe just your color pencils, your paints, your gouache, watercolors. So it's easy for you to just reach out and grab them. You don't have to go look in drawers or in cupboards for it. And I may make changes like that going forward. Actually, that's maybe an idea that I can maybe change some of that going forward. But at the moment, this is my setup, and I think this will work for me. And I think maybe one of these ideas could work for you and help you with your creativity and your making your art. Now for me, I'm doing YouTube. I've got my Patreon videos, and I do want to make more videos on my Patreon for my patrons, because I haven't been posting a lot of content on Patreon. So I want to have more videos out there. So I'm going to be creating more, as well as my YouTube. Every week I have videos out. I've got shorts and reels that I post as well. So I think having a workspace that works for me and that helps me to have a better workflow and creativity flowing, and not having something that I struggle with. Because if you're going to struggle for your art to create, you're going to have resistance to create, and you're not going to want to go to your desk to create, because you're feeling either overwhelmed. Like I said with my sketchbooks, if they stacked up, you're going to feel overwhelmed. Same with your art supplies. If they just stacked up, you're going to feel overwhelmed. You don't need to have this much of art supplies. I do art as my career, and I work with all these different mediums. That's why I have that many art supplies, but you don't need to have that many art supplies. But having your art supplies laid out where you can see them will make you use them, will inspire you. And a lot of things stacked up on your table, you're going to feel resistance because you got to move everything out or you don't have enough space. It's going to make you feel uncomfortable working. So you should have a workspace that's comfortable for you and that allows you to freely work without having to worry about, you know, where everything is and trying to make space. So I think for you, if any of these help you, please do let me know if you've got other suggestions and if these help you, because I would like to know, maybe someone has got better ideas. It can really help me out, it can help everyone else out. So I think if you do have any other ideas, please let everyone know. But yeah, this is what I wanted to show in this video. And I just want to mention that oil pastels are a supply that I haven't used in many years. I think I did use it in a video when I did my I think I was using pastels in a pastel month or pastel week or something. I was using different pastels, soft pastels, oil pastels, pastel pencils. I did videos for that week with that or month with that, but I've not used these in many years. And I actually used to use these a lot when I was in primary school. I've got smaller sets that I used when I was in primary school, and I used to draw characters and, you know, watch movies, animated movies, and then come home and draw all the characters and use this to color them in. And I don't know why, I just felt like really using them. There was a swatch I did of some colors. I think it's here. Hold on a second, let me get it. So ignore this, this is just a scrap paper, but this blue swatch that I did of the pastels, do you see how they blend so beautifully into one another? I don't know what about it really, you know, made me feel like using them. So I ended up, you know, taking out these pastels and, you know, using them. And I actually created this little drawing. Now, it's not a perfect drawing, it's not something detailed, but it was fun, and I was actually, you know, very excited using it. It was this little drawing over here. Now, it was a simple thing, nothing, you know, really perfect or beautiful, but I think it looks cute. It's not the best, my best work, but it's cute. And I just wanted to, you know, try out these pastels, and that's what I was meaning when I said that sometimes just changing your workspace or changing your supplies and how everything is laid out, that can really, you know, change your mindset and can really create inspiration for you and can make you want to use your supplies more and make you want to work with different supplies that you haven't used for a long time. So I think that's what happened here, and it really made me want to use pastels, oil pastels. And you know, I really haven't used oil pastels in years except for that one time, and it was really something for me to use it, and I really enjoyed it, surprisingly, because I'm most of the time using my, you know, paints and acrylics and color pencils and, you know, gouache, but I'm not really reaching for my pastels really. So when I went for this and I worked with it, it was so much of fun. I wasn't really thinking about, you know, how's it gonna look and is it gonna be perfect. I just had fun with it. So that's something that I just wanted to show you, and, you know, maybe it can help you out there. So I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. If you have, don't forget to like and share. It really helps the channel out. Also, if you have any suggestions and ideas maybe for a workspace that I can maybe consider, or maybe something that can be easier or that can help anybody out, then please leave it in the comments down below, because it can help somebody out, and other artists are always looking for ways, including myself, to change their workspace and make it more practical and make it work better for them. And also, if you'd like to see other videos like this and art content and art videos and art journaling videos or any art content videos, you can consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when my next video gets uploaded. I also have got a Patreon, so if you'd like to support me there, you can head over to my Patreon. The link will be in the description down below. Check what I have on my Patreon and what benefits I offer, and then you can see if that's something for you, and you can support me there. So if you'd like to see other content as well and art journaling content. So I guess that's it for this one. Thanks again for watching. Till the next one. Bye!